Interesting facts about Chittorgarh Fort, Rajasthan, India. Chittorgarh Fort is considered a symbol of Rajput chivalry, resistance and bravery. The fort is located 175 kilometers east of Udaipur and is named after the person who built it, Chitrangada Mori. The famous Chittorgarh Fort, one of the largest forts in India, is perched on a 180-meter high hill that rises from the banks of the Berach River. The fort is known for its 7 gates, namely Padan Gate, Ganesh Gate, Hanuman Gate, Bhairon Gate, Jodla Gate, Lakshman Gate and the main gate named after Lord Ram. Chittorgarh Fort is home to many palaces such as Rana Kumbha Palace, Fateh Prakash Palace, Victory Tower, and Rani Padmini Palace. The most popular theory says that Chitrangada Mori, a local Mauryan ruler, built the fort. A body of water located next to the fort is said to have been created by the legendary Mahabharata hero, Bhima. Bapa Rawal of the Gila dynasty was one of the first rulers to successfully capture the fort. Another version of the story says that Bapa Rawal captured the fort not from Moors but from the Arabs, who took it from Moors, even before Bapa Rawal arrived. The fortress remained with the rulers of the Gila dynasty for a long time until 1303 when the ruler of the Delhi Sultanate Alauddin Khilji decided to capture it. He regained possession of the fort from King Ratnasimha after a siege that lasted about 8 months. This conquest was associated with carnage and bloodshed, as it is widely believed that Alauddin Khilji ordered the execution of more than 30,000 Hindus after capturing the fort. Another famous legend has it that the fortress was captured by Khilji in an attempt to force Padmini, queen of Ratnasimha, into an affair. Several years later, Alauddin Khilji passed the fort to his son Khizr Khan, who owned it until AD 1311. This ruler held possession of the fort for the next 7 years before Hamar Singh of the Mewar dynasty decided to take it from him. Hamar then came up with a plan to trick Moldova and eventually capture the fortress. Hamar Singh is said to have turned the Mewar dynasty into a military machine. Thus, the descendants of Hamar enjoyed the luxury that the fortress provided for many years. One of the famous descendants of Hamar who ascended the throne in AD 1433 was Rana Kumbha. Although the Mewar dynasty has developed into a stronger military force under Rana's rule, plans to capture the fort by various other rulers are underway. This is probably the beginning of the end of the famous Mewar dynasty. On March 16, 1527, one of Rana Udaipur's descendants was defeated in a battle by Babar and the Mewar dynasty weakened. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Bahadur Shah of the Muzaffarid dynasty laid siege to the fort in 1535. In 1567, Emperor Akbar, who wanted to take over all of India, set his eyes on the famous fortress of Chittorgarh. During that time, the place was ruled by Rana Uday Singh II of the Mewar dynasty. Few kings as brave as Rana of Mewar resisted Akbar's demands. After a bloody battle that lasted many months, Akbar defeated the army of Rana Kumbha Palace II and captured Chittorgarh's possessions along with the fort. The fortress has 65 structures, including temples, palaces, memorials, and waterworks. Vijay Stamba was built by Rana Kumbha in 1448 to commemorate his victory over Mahmud Shah I Khalji. Next to Vijay Stamba is the famous palace of Rana Kumbha, now in ruins. The palace was once the main residence of Rana Kumbha and is one of the oldest buildings in the fort. Next to Rana Kumbha Palace is Fateh Prakash Palace, built by Rana Fateh Singh. A few meters from Padmini Palace, is the famous temple of Kalika Mata. To the west of the fort, is another temple dedicated to the goddess Tulya Bhavani. The gates, in turn, lead to various palaces and temples inside the fortress. Prince Bhag Singh was killed at Padan Gate during one of the sieges in AD 1535. Akbar had a huge army and so most of the rulers of India accepted defeat even before trying Akbar's powerful army on the battlefield. Few kings as brave as Rana of Mewar resisted Akbar's demands. After a bloody battle that lasted many months, Akbar defeated the army of Rana Kumbha Palace II and captured Chittorgarh's possessions along with the fort.